what made Mr. Trump, who's so busy around the world, he cut short his trip to G7 summit. And, he has so much on his plate on China, on tariff wars, to host Pakistan's army chief at the White House. Why was he invited?
This meeting will be more security and defense oriented. I mean, the focus will be on India, Pakistan, on the developments in Iran, on the rise of terrorism in Afghanistan.
What do you think is likely to be the agenda of this famous meeting, this extraordinary meeting of Pakistan's army chief at lunch with the US president?
Pakistan would like to make it very clear that it was not involved in the Pahalgam terrorist attack, and that rather India has been sponsoring terrorism inside Pakistan.
Viewers, very warm welcome to another episode of V News English program Perspectives, in which we bring before you very insightful and informed perspectives from around the world on issues which affect the whole world in the most significant manner. And at a time when Asia in general, but Middle East in particular, is engulfed and in a very deepening crisis and conflict, White House is hosting Pakistan's army chief, Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir. So the timing, the agenda, and the likely discussion is definitely attracting a lot of attention from around the world. So in order to discuss the significance, the timing, and the likely agenda of this extraordinary meeting, I'm joined today by an authority on Pak-US relations, Mr. Anwar Iqbal, who is very closely watching all the developments in Washington. He's the only journalist of Pakistani origin who has exclusively interviewed a US president as well. So he knows what goes on inside White House very well. So thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Anwar Iqbal.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Mr. Anwar Iqbal, let's begin by asking you, first off, what made Mr. Trump, who is so busy around the world, he cut short his trip to G7 summit, and he has so much on his plate on China, on tariff wars, to host Pakistan's army chief at the White House. Why was he invited?
Well, I think the Middle East, obviously, what's happening in the Middle East is a big issue in Washington. It is something that is being discussed day and night, not just the U.S. administration, but even the U.S. public, the U.S. media, the think tank. They're all occupied with this issue. Pakistan borders Iran. Pakistan will be directly impacted by these developments. So the Americans would like to consult Pakistan and see what role Pakistan can play in this crisis. Pakistan obviously has its own interest. Pakistan has an old friendship with Iran, and they can only do so much, but whatever they can do will be discussed today. But having said that, this meeting is not just about Iran. It's much more than that. It is about India-Pakistan relations, particularly after this air combat that proves Pakistan right. That Pakistan has always been saying that, look, Kashmir is a nuclear flashpoint and during these clashes, it was proved that Pakistan is right, because both India and Pakistan came very close to a nuclear war over Kashmir. So President Trump has taken notice of it. He has raised this issue 8 times in his statement. He has been offering to negotiate, to help India and Pakistan negotiate a settlement for the Kashmir dispute. So I think that is important. And then, of course, whenever Pakistani army chief or a president or a prime minister or whoever is there. They also talk about bilateral issues, trade and commerce, the new tariffs and all those things might also be discussed. But this meeting will be more security and defense oriented. I mean, the focus will be on India, Pakistan, on the developments in Iran, on the rise of terrorism in Afghanistan. That is another important issue. Pakistan relations with China may also be discussed.
Thank you. Since you know the Beltway politics and policy very well, and so I would like to know your perspective that this initiative by President Trump to offer mediation on Kashmir between India and Pakistan, do you think this is his personal initiative, or this is something which is anchored in the US establishment, State Department, Pentagon, or the intelligence community? Where is this idea coming from?
I think it is his personal initiative. He's somebody who does not always follow instructions that he receives from his departments. Yeah, I mean, he does consider them, and ultimately they do come forward and influence his decision making. But he loves to take his own initiative, and then brings then brings in his departments to see how they can contribute. So I see it more as a personal initiative.
Okay, so I want your quick comment on how the recent conflict between Pakistan and India has affected US relations with Pakistan and India. Because in Pakistan, the sentiment is such that the initiative and the offer by President Trump to mediate on Kashmir has been widely welcomed. Whereas it seems that it has annoyed the Modi administration in India because they are not too keen on in reciprocating this offer. So do you think this conflict has sort of changed the dynamics of US policy towards South Asia between India and Pakistan in any manner?
Well, first of all, I'd like to add something to my previous statement that yes, it is a personal initiative of President Trump. But at the same time, we must not forget one thing, that one part of the US establishment, that is the Pentagon, has always had a soft corner for Pakistan. And you saw the statement that came from the CENTCOM chief, the commander of the Central Command, General Kurila, who praised the role Pakistan has been playing in combating terrorism, particularly in Afghanistan. He also mentioned how Pakistan helped them catch some major terrorists, some big terrorists. So, and he described Pakistan as a phenomenal partner in the fight against terrorism. So, yeah, I mean, it must be a personal initiative of President Trump, but I think Pentagon also has a role in promoting, protecting Pakistan's interest in Washington.
So, what do you think is likely to be the agenda of this famous meeting, this extraordinary meeting of Pakistan's army chief at lunch with the US president?
I think, as far as Pakistan is concerned, the first thing would be India-Pakistan relations, the conflict, the post-conflict scenario, the need of Pakistan would like to emphasize the need to resolve the Kashmir dispute. Pakistan would like to make it very clear that it was not involved in the Pahalgam terrorist attack, and that rather India has been sponsoring terrorism inside Pakistan, and Pakistan would like to work with India to counter terrorism as Pakistan has offered before. And then obviously the Americans would like to hear Pakistan out on the developments in Iran. They would like to see where Pakistan stands on this. And then, as we discussed earlier, then they'll be discussing bilateral relations as well.
Recently, a high-level Pakistani parliamentary delegation also visited New York and Washington, headed by the Pakistan People's Party chairman, Mr. Bilawal Bhutto. Senator Sherry Rahman was also there. Ambassador Gilani was there, and several other politicians were there as well. So I'd like your view on how this high-level Pakistani parliamentary delegation, affected Pak-US relations, and what is its significance? How are people in Washington looking
It
at it?
was it was a successful visit. They were able to explain Pakistan's position on particularly on the India-Pakistan conflict, but also on various issues, including Kashmir. They met a lot of U.S. lawmakers. They also went to New York and met the UN General Secretary and everything. But one thing was said that look, when the Indians were there, they were able to meet the Vice President J.D. Vance. They met the Vice President, but Pakistanis could not, because obviously Indian had an advantage with that the President's wife is from India. But this meeting with Trump obviously is far bigger than the one that the Indian had, and that in this diplomatic war, that the ongoing diplomatic war between India and Pakistan, this is a major achievement for Pakistan.
There are some recent reports, I'm sure you must have seen, that perhaps there has been a telephone call between White House and New Delhi as well. Would you like to share what could be discussed in that call before Pakistan's army chief meets the US president?
It will be very naive of us to believe that because the Americans are warming up to Islamabad and that they have invited the army chief for a meeting, that they will actually discard India. They're not. They will want to have very strong relationship with India. India plays a key role in their strategy for countering China. India is a major country, a very big country. It's a very big economy, and it is an economy. It is a country that the United States has been promoting for 2 decades now, and I think that relationship will continue. India will still be a very important country for Washington. And whenever they speak, obviously, I mean, this particular conversation must have focused on the situation in South Asia, particularly the post-conflict scenario, the relations between India and Pakistan. And Trump must have assured the Indians that his meeting with the Pakistani delegation is not against India or not something that reduces India's importance in Washington.
Okay, thank you. And my last question, Mr. Anwar Iqbal, is that you're looking at Pak-US relations for almost 3 decades now. How do you summarize the emerging trend and trajectory of Pak-US relations in future? If you look at the 4 domains of security, economy, and politics, where do you see the opportunity and prospects of improving bilateral relations as more significant and bright in future?
I think there will be some stability in the bilateral relationship. That it has not been very good in the recent past, particularly after the discovery of Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, and the relationship nosedived. And this is a golden opportunity for Pakistan to rebuild it. There is a desire in Washington to rebuild it. I think they're also looking to invest in Pakistan. They're interested in the mineral that were recently discovered in Pakistan. They also would like to revive some sort of a strategic partnership with Pakistan. So I think the future is bright.
Mr. Anwar Iqbal, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight into this very important meeting between the US President and Pakistan's Army Chief, which seems that US is interested in improving its bilateral relations with Pakistan and listening to Pakistan's perspective on the most critical regional and global developments. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.